Welcome to the Tone Jerks podcast. I'm your host, Brian Gower, and with me today we got
Kyle McIntyre.
And on the line, it's a
long distance.
Long distance. It's from another country.
Wow.
Whoa. We have Mr. Andrew Walsh. Say hi to the people.
Hi, Matt.
I'm on. Is this your first time being on a podcast?
It is for sure. Yeah.
Hell yeah! Well, thank you for coming on to ours.
Yeah,
gracing us.
It's good to have you.
So, you've been a virtual friend for a while, and in the Facebook groups.
Yeah, we thought you were a bot for a while. Yeah. Now we know you're a real person.
And you've been following along with the show and supporting it, and contributing a lot with topics and various things like that. And I was like, you know what? It's 2019. Let's get him on the show. And you
said
got
internet there, I think, right?
You have a mic and stuff like that. So we'll get into the topics, kind of what I was picking your brain about. But let's jump into what's news, and we'll go into some of that stuff. What do you guys say?
Yeah, we could do that.
Kyle, do you want to lead us off?
You got some time?
Yeah.
All right.
We got an hour and some change to spare here.
For my walrus quest, right? So there's a pedal I've been looking at since it came out, right? And noticed it had some features on it that I think would work with the noise section of my pedal board.
The bass.
Yes, for my bass noise section.
Yeah, that's an ongoing quest
that
we're trying to do, and just add more ambience in between songs and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I settled on the slow. I was looking at the slow. When it first came out, I'm like, oh, it's cool, it's a reverb. I already have reverb. And then I'm like, it has that momentary function where it's like, it'll just go nuts. Not nuts, it'll just it'll hold the sound,
like a repeat,
basically.
And kind of it's like self-oscillate.
Almost like a freeze.
Yeah.
Like freeze pedal. So I knew special someone in the area. Should we name him?
Yeah,
well, whatever.
Throw him out there.
I've bought from him before. He's a good customer. Or I'm a good customer. Shit. Ryan from 60 Cycle Hum.
Yeah.
Huge shout out. He needs those shout outs.
Yeah. He needs those shit outs. Is that what you're gonna
say? So I basically I think the first pedal I bought, he put like a call out, oh, does anyone want this walrus monument? And I'm like, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
And then this one I was like, hey dude,
I know you have this.
Yeah. What? You got that slow, bro. Yeah. So hit him up. And
yeah, because he did a demo for it and stuff like that, and I think he was using it on his board, and then he was like, I guess humble brag for him. I was saying, he gets so many pedals that you're like, I'll bet there's a chance that he's
exactly
got that thing.
It's like, hey man, you want that piece of shit?
He wouldn't move it. Like, when you're trying to tire kick him.
Yeah. No, yeah. So it was funny because we almost didn't meet up. It was like, oh, I don't want to disturb you. Oh, well, you want to sell it? No, I mean, anyways, we met up finally. I got it.
Yeah.
So playing that, it is a fun pedal. It is cool. It does that momentary hold. You actually just have to hold it for like a split second, and it'll just capture.
Yeah.
And then you can still stack into that, but it makes this ambient kind of ambiance.
And so a bunch of different modulation features or whatever that you can
crazy.
do with it. Yeah, it's.
So it'll be cool to add, just hit and let it roll and just generate some crazy noises.
Yeah.
And then what's cool is you hit it and it fades out. It doesn't just go, it doesn't just drop out.
And that's exactly what we were thinking with because the
rubber neck, as soon as you hit it, it's it's gone.
It's like a hard stop.
Yeah, this is which is cool.
So
that's been fun. I completed my Partiora, because party,
Yeah.
Partiora.
It's a party.
It's the Meteora guitar that I was building with the Evertune and the P90s.
Yeah.
Man, the thing plays great.
So it's finished. It's all ready to go.
Yeah.
Did I just gotta do some.
I ordered the body from Rosser.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I just did he just sends it's like a piece of unfinished. I mean, rough finish, white ash, and then sand it down, stain it, and then so it's kind of like, here you go. This is your piece of wood. You get to do what you want with it. So, I got like a baseball bat, Louisville Slugger neck.
It's a really big neck from Warmouth.
Yeah, love that thing.
Yeah.
Roasted maple. Posted some pictures of it if you guys want to take a look at it. But
yeah, no, it's really cool. I think once you got it kind of set up and going, and then just kind of minor adjustments here.
Yeah,
with the
gotta do some intonation
bridge.
stuff.
Yeah. But I was playing it. I'm not used to playing guitars with that big of a neck. I didn't realize. I'm like, man, I think most of my guitars, I think my SG has a little bit thicker of a neck, but not even close to being that big and round. It's the fat back is the neck
It's
size.
funny what a couple millimeters will do, you know?
Yeah.
My Les Paul's got a fat neck. It's my favorite to play. So
I'm just not even used to it. I think it's comfortable to do chords, but when I was trying to do like some lead work and some other stuff, I was just doing like plain riffs or whatever. I'm like, I'm missing strings. I'm like, I'm not used to this at all. I'm like, what the fuck? What kind of guitar do you have, Andrew?
Les Paul, a Gibson Les Paul.
Nice. Is it like a studio or is it a standard?
It's the LPJ from 2014.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
This came with like what, 50s next or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's the 50s. Yeah. Nice and fat.
What kind of neck's on your SG? Isn't it just wider?
I think it's just a little bit thicker, but it's not like it's. I most of my guitars have the slimmer 60s style necks. This one's just like, I think it's in between the two. It's not as big as it's a noticeable difference. And I'm like, oh, it's more comfortable to play. But I think I just like my Les Paul Jr. more. So I play that one more. But anyway, so
that's done. That thing is fun to play. Like I said, I don't know. It's been since like, was it January?
Yeah.
So it's been like a quest.
To get this done.
To get it done, to get it sent out, get it routed for the Evertune bridge, and then getting parts for it, and then realizing, I need to do this, and then thinking like I did something wrong on it, and realizing I just didn't fit things together properly, and then okay, snaps together. So it's been this like journey.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's nice to finally see something come together that you like envisioned, and
also to like finish a project.
Yeah, to actually finish something. But when like you're seeing all these parts come in, you're like, I'm never gonna finish this. But with a smile, I'm gonna finish this.
Yeah.
You never. I had some other parts come in for guitars, some tuners, and just like stuff to try and finish other ones. So, but I put some tuners on that Squire I got, the black.
Yeah, the
Affinity. It's an Affinity.
Affinity Squire.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was like the thing that you were like most disappointed about was the tuners.
Tuners suck
because they would just kind of like
it would
skip, and you're like, oh, okay.
Now we're
either way
way
when
out.
We're like tuning or detuning and stuff like that. It would just like okay.
So I got some Spurzels, purple ones.
Yeah.
So offsetting that.
So it's all black and
black, and then with like a little fluorescent purple
highlights or something like that.
I guess I'll go to the big one.
Okay. Even though you Jesus Christ, you got
hold on.
got a hell of a lot of what's news. These are all none of them are anything to shake a stick at. But go on.
I'm gonna take a deep breath here. So
drum roll.
I've always wanted this instrument, this bass actually, and I've talked about it before. I
probably over a decade now.
Yeah, forever. And I just started looking again on Reverb. It like popped up on my feet, I think, because it knows what I want.
Yeah.
But Gibson Grabber. So I bought one from a dude in Florida.
Yeah, it's one of the 3 humbucker ones,
or
the 3 single coil one.
Yeah, it's the G3. Yeah. So it's a 1976 G3. It's black with like a maple neck.
Yeah,
man, it's awesome. I gotta do some adjustments on it. I think there's maybe like a worn out tuner or but it plays pretty well. Probably do some straightening of the neck, but I mean the thing's like 45 years old or something.
Yeah.
Is that the bubble wrap one from today?
Yeah, dude. It had a layer of bubble wrap for every year it's been alive.
Like a tree, kind of the rings or the bubble wrap.
Yeah, it just cocoons itself.
Well, yeah, I mean you got to keep it safe. That's cool. Then the guy gave a shit.
Yeah, no, it didn't come in a case, so I'm gonna have to get a case.
Yeah,
so
get a mono case.
No, we got a hard case, dude.
Okay,
but to maybe just go through it and see. There's some scratchy pots and stuff, so
just clean them out or whatever.
Yeah, see what it takes. But
are you gonna try and keep that like as original as you can, or do you want to make it like a player? Because if like a pot's bad, you're gonna be like, fuck it, just get a new harness.
Yeah, maybe
just keep the original stuff.
Yeah, I'll keep it and put it back in if I ever sell it. But
like if
you know
like,
me,
like if that tuner's busted, just get another.
Yeah,
set of tuners.
I think it's just I might be able to. It's worn out a little bit. It's not. It just rattles when you hit the string that it's on.
Yeah.
Right. It just the actual tuning peg rattles a little bit, like there's a lot of play.
Yeah.
But I mean,
tighten it.
Might be able to take it out. Might be able to move, like pound some metal so it stays in place without breaking it.
You're not so concerned about like, well, and it had the bridge was replaced anyways.
It has a badass 2 bridge in it, which isn't bad.
Which is kind of
what I was going to put anyways.
Yeah.
And the neck has actually been broken before. The neck was snapped and it was put back together.
Gibson style, yeah.
So, but it wasn't on the headstock, so it's actually on the neck. It's like at the first fret.
Yeah.
So whatever. I might have to sand that spot down. I can feel a little catch there, but I mean,
that's cool.
Got it for a good deal, and it's never gonna break in that spot. Hopefully, again.
Yeah.
Whew. All right, that was my what's new.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a lot of cool stuff. All right, what Andrew? I guess we've never talked to you before. So what's new?
Start from the beginning.
Maybe recently. What's well, first I was born.
Yeah.
So what's new in your world? What's some cool stuff going on?
Well, music wise, my first time playing live in a long time was a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of got the bug to keep playing live. So tonight was my first jam with a local band. They asked me to come in and play guitar with them, and so that was tonight.
How'd it go?
Good. They gave me 12 songs on Sunday to learn. Then I got the flu.
It's a hell of an order for like 4 days.
Yeah, they weren't expecting me to learn it all, but I learned what I could.
You actually got the flu?
I did get the flu.
Okay, not like I got sick with playing. I actually got the flu.
I didn't get the practice flu. Yeah.
He said he caught the bug to play.
Oh, okay.
Right,
yeah.
Christ.
That was a long con there.
Yeah.
It's a long game.
Yeah, you have to go back and follow along. Yeah, if you missed
For those of you go
back to page 2 and you can.
All right, sorry.
But yeah, no, all the songs were songs I enjoy playing, so it was good to get out and play with people like-minded music. And they want to start writing stuff too, so it'd be nice to.
Oh, that's cool. Is it more of like a what kind of style is it?
Like all covers right now, but like Blink, Offspring.
Nice.
And,
hell yeah.
So kind of rock, punk, and stuff like that. So
yeah, all stuff you would enjoy as well, right? So
yeah, definitely right up our alley, I guess. That's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah,
so when they want to write stuff, I thought I could just bring some plain stuff they won't know, and I'll say I wrote this last night.
You just got to really roll back. You're like, okay, what would I write when I was like 12? And then that's what plain stuff is.
Yeah.
Where the lead lines all go off of the chord.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, that's cool. Yeah. So I mean, I think we were talking earlier, like in a text about like, oh yeah, this is cool. I'm like, and I'm like, I think most of the time with those first band practices, it's kind of just about feeling the vibe.
Yeah.
You guys kind of like, you're not just trying to be like, let's judge this guy. Does he rip or not? It's not like an air guitar competition or something, or like the shred off, but it's like, can we vibe with this guy? Because to me, oh my God, I'd so much rather play with a guy who is, good enough at his instrument to be able to play with, but like I don't want to play with the guy who's just like smoking everybody, but I want the guy who's like cooler. Like the hang is more important than like the player.
Yo, vibes, bro.
Yeah,
kind of vibes. It's tasty vibes, man. Because I'm like
about the licks.
Feel it and play it perfect, right?
Yeah, and it's like I mean, it's like we played with drummers who are really, really good. I'm like, man, I do not want to play with you because it's like they kind of hitting the right, parts at the time, and then they adding fills in here. I'm like, dude, you're like a showman, and then you're just a total dickhead. So I'm like, can you get the fuck away from me, please?
You're drowning me, bro.
Everyone in this band is pretty humble, which is good. And I felt like a bag of shit from the flu, so I was kind of leaning on the wall for half of it, trying to follow along. So
Nice.
Not a great first impression, but I think it went well. So,
or you could be so like, oh man, we're not impressing him. We got to step it up, guys.
Over there.
He's getting tired. He's getting bored.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. Well, that's pretty good this week anyway. But
I got a couple things. We'll get into some topics. So I'm still on my Pedal Genie trial.
Yeah.
I got my next pedal from them. So the last one, Alexander, whatever it was not so hot. So I had another one. I think kind of how they do their list, you kind of make like, whatever, 20 something pedals or whatever. And then they kind of just pick compared to the availability and whatever's on the top of your list, they'll send out to you. So it's kind of just like, surprise, you'll get an email like, this coming, this is being sent. It's coming. And so I was like, oh, a Digitech drop. I heard about it, it's like, I think I've seen it on a couple boards and rig rundowns, on like Premier Guitar or whatever. And people say, oh yeah, I do this when I need to, drop tune. Instead of changing guitars, I can just click on this and it drops, up to 8 half steps down.
Dang.
Your whole tuning. So every string is now tuned half step down. So you can just play, say if you're, if you want to play, D standard and you're in E, just drop it 2 half steps and you can just click that and like, boom, it sounds actually like it sounds like your guitar's down tuned. I was like,
that's crazy.
I was super skeptical. And then I heard it talked about on the Tone Control. Derek had it as, they're sponsored by Pedal Genie. And then he got it and he's like, man, I was kind of, threw it on my list and he got it. I was like, wow, this is really cool. And he tested it out at home, recorded, and then in his band situation, you couldn't tell a difference. And so I was like, damn. And I was trying it out on bass. I was trying it out on guitar. I was playing through my Fractal and stuff like that. I'm like trying to be like, okay, ultra precise to see what if I can hear the difference. I'm like, dude, that sounds great. Even on bass, it works.
Really?
Yeah, because in Just in Case, I play bass in that band, and we have a song. We have like probably half the set or 4 or 5 songs that are drop D. But I'm like, oh, I just hate doing that. I hate playing D, like because it's just so floppy. Like the string, just like the resistance or like whatever,
it flubs out, and
it feels like you're playing a rubber band, like guitar. And I'm like, it's fine. Nobody can tell the difference. But I'm like, okay, I hit that thing, and I had my guitar tuned to E standard, or my bass tuned to E, and then I hit the drop tune for a whole step down. I'm like, oh, cool. So I just would have to relearn my hand positions if I got this thing, which I think I'm gonna buy it.
What, you're gonna buy a pedal?
I think I was gonna buy it from Pedal Genie because they have that option of buying it.
Yeah,
but it's actually cheaper if you buy it from Pitbull Audio.
Oh, nice.
Used. So I think I'm gonna send this one back, and I brought it for you to try out so you can give it a shot before I send it back.
Yeah.
And then, it's really, really, it's kind of a dumb, like, it's not a dumb pedal. It's just boring, but it's like
it feels like a utility pedal.
It's exactly what it is. I would think that'd be great to have you and I on our boards. And then we could be like, if we had like a drop tune song, or if we wanted to like, experiment with like playing, in D standard or C sharp or something like that for a song, we wouldn't have to commit to having a whole guitar tune to that.
Jesus.
And then we can just like play. And I'm like, yeah, it's really cool. It's a cool little idea.
Put it before the tuner or after the tuner?
Yeah. And I was doing dumb tests like that and actually tuning and checking the tune. I'm like, wow, it's still as accurate as the string was. So I'm like, damn,
that's pretty cool.
It's cool. It sounds.
Can you switch out to momentary so that?
Yes, you can. So you can have it to where it's like, one of the, like where it dips down, like beep,
almost dive, but it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't do like a smooth dive. It just drops.
It's not like the Boss one,
the Super Shifter.
It's not like that. No, it doesn't have like more of a effect. You kind of just push it and it goes beep. Yeah. It does have like kind of a scale down, but it's not like as dynamic as the Boss one.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very cool. And I did like a stupid test, like video recording of it because Derek from the Tone Control asked. I'm like, dude, can you test it with the Miku? I'm like, yeah,
hell yeah. I just warmed that thing up.
You don't have to like, tempt me, threaten me with a good time. So I was like, hell yeah. So I just made a video for it. So I put it on our Instagram, and kind of getting more into doing, pedal like videos or whatever, just kind of getting used to doing, figuring out if I want to start doing that, like maybe doing it for, maybe putting them on YouTube or something like that. But I'm like, oh, so far the Miku ones are just hilarious because it's like people are like, okay, we get that the Miku is a noisemaker and kind of like, quirky and just like kind of like, glitchy and just, and then if you add that to other things, I'm like, okay, can you just make some scary, crazy noises and stuff like that? And that was the drop, was just going,
you should do the Miku and the slow.
I should try it. But yeah, so I had that going. And then, let's see. So that is now I'm one and one for the pedal genie. One good one not so good one.
Yeah.
So I'll send that back and we'll see what comes next. Let's see. Next I did buy something pretty stupid. It is guitar related and anime related.
Oh God.
So I bought a Vox amp plug, a K-On anime version. So Mio from K-On, I don't know, they did like a whole series of like the guitar bass players from K-On, the anime series, on these special edition Vox amp plugs.
Yeah.
So, like the little like headphone thing that goes into your guitar.
Yeah.
And they go for like hundreds of dollars. And I'm like, I'm not gonna buy one of those. It's like those things don't sound good.
Yeah.
They don't sound good.
It's not going to sound like an AC30.
No. And this is the bass version because she's the bass player of the band. So I'm like, what the fuck? So it's just like pretty much a clean tone or a grittier clean tone. Anyway, and on Instagram, friends of ours, the Unlimited Tonework / like I guess they have another account that's more anime focused is Tsundere Industry. Like they kind of do like a lot more like figures and stuff like that. And he had posted on his story like, hey, I think I'm just gonna sell this thing, this Vox one. I'm like, I messaged him like, how much are you gonna sell it for? He's like, well, for you, $60, which is still a lot of money compared to the other amp plugs. I'm like, you know what? Sold. It's fucking stupid. And he's like, just so you know, they go for like $120 or like $200.
So I'm hooking it up.
Yeah. So he's like, I'm hooking you up, bro. And he gave me a couple stickers or whatever. I'm like, cool. Nice. So that was my stupid purchase. And I tried it out. It sounds like shit. So it's basically just on the wall next to my anime figures. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of cool to have. And I'm like, I don't know. It's crazy.
It's a novelty.
Yeah, it is 100% novelty. I put it back in the package so it looks like it's mint in box.
put it on your anime board.
Yeah, my dream.
Have it hook it into the pedal, the final one.
That could be the one. That could be
and then you get a microphone
and just go DI out of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's something new that I bought that was kind of.
Well, you've wanted that for a while.
Yeah, and I got it, and I'm like, yeah, it's $60 shipped. I'm like,
that's pretty good.
And I was like, yeah, it's good. It's not good when you think about like they're normally like $20 or $15, and then I paid $60.
Okay, well,
but it has Mio on it.
Yeah, I don't even know who that is.
Put it with the rest of the waifus on the wall. Just boom next to my figures and shit. Anyway, it was a dumb purchase, but I'm actually pretty excited about it. And then so that's kind of it. I did play a show with Just In Case. It was fine. I used the baseboard. I kind of added for a noise thing. I didn't use the.
Oh, you're taking my idea.
Yeah,
okay.
Well, I mean, it's your board that I used. I didn't do the DoD rubberneck as much as I did the. I added the Hummingbird V4, which has the momentary. That's very cool actually on bass because it goes just like you have it on the highest speed and you go brrr, brrr, and it kind of starts doing like a feedback kind of loop. Other than that, yeah, it was good. I used the Terabase combo, unmiked in a smaller bar. Killed it. Oh my god, people loved it. They're like, damn, that thing is. How many watts is that?
You go, Brian.
No, people were like, they came up to like, that's 500. No, they didn't care about my bass playing. They cared about like that amp. It's like, how much is that? That's 500 watts. That's cool. But yeah, no. So Just In Case shows are good. We got some shows coming up next month. But yeah, that's kind of it for the What's News. Long-winded.
Sorry, Jesus.
Yeah, but we're all doing cool shit.
We just want everyone to know about it.
Yeah. All right. So Andrew, the one of the reasons, or I guess the audience, one of the reasons why I wanted Andrew to come onto the show is because
he's a cool dude.
Cool guy.
First of all.
Hashtag cool guy.
Sick hangs.
Sick hangs, bro. And I guess for him tonight, sick hangs.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I mean, time zone differences.
Yeah.
You're like all the way over in the Atlantic Ocean almost.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just a little bit.
You're in a schooner.
And then, because Andrew does a lot of guitar repair. So Andrew's Alcove is your Instagram, and you kind of can follow that along, and you can see kind of his process of and like progress that he's doing of like different repairs. And you kind of did like speaker amp or combo speaker conversions and stuff like that. So you're kind of like very DIY, like I'm gonna work on something, I'm doing it, and are you doing that just for yourself or for friends or for clients, or what do you?
Well, it started off doing stuff for. I can go back to the beginning.
All right, let's let's get into that. I kind of want to know, like, you do guitar repair, so I guess I wanted to ask, like, what are things that you specialize in? What do you do? What don't you do? But let's kind of just start from the beginning. Lead it off. It's all you.
Yeah, there we go. Music was always huge in my family. Like growing up, there's a piano in the house. There's an acoustic guitar floating around. My dad always had music in the car. Like introduced me to Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, Metallica. My dad introduced me to all those bands, right? So
yeah.
My brother managed a record store, so he had a lot of CDs. Like,
oh, dope.
He'd take home the demo CDs and stuff. So there's always music available, right?
Yeah.
So I started playing guitar when I was like 15 or so, and played for a few years, band in high school and stuff like that. But then when I got older, my job took about 100 hours a week when I was 20 years old.
Dang.
And adulting kind of got in the way for a while, so the guitar kind of slid away from me. So then I went back to advance my training for work in like 2011, finished that in 2014. And when I was on that, I didn't want to read another book in my life, so I started playing guitar again. And, so started playing a little more, and then I kind of got interested in how they worked a little better, because when I was younger, if I had a problem, I took it to someone to fix it and spent a lot of money on it, right?
Yeah, that's where money goes, yeah.
Yeah, and everything else was DIY. Like, if something needs to be fixed in the house, I don't call someone. I usually just kind of figure it out, unless I got to a point where I need to call someone.
Yeah.
Broken car, I fixed it myself. So
nice.
I thought if I can do that, I can fix a guitar, right? So started kind of learning stuff like that, and then looking for guitars to modify and stuff. And Ryan on 60 Cycle had that Epiphone SL series he did there.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be a cool guitar to pick up and mess around with. Never ended up getting one, but I bought a few Squires and kind of took them apart and desoldered and resoldered and kind of figured out how it all worked and stuff, right? Mm-hmm. And then I decided I wanted to build a guitar, so I bought a kit online for a Telecaster.
Nice.
And that's when I started listening to the podcast, actually. While I was doing that, I couldn't listen to music because I couldn't sit still when I listen to music, so I started listening to podcasts instead.
You start moshing.
And that's how I got into that. Yeah. Slamming up against the wall.
Doesn't work with a soldering iron in your hand.
Yeah. So did that for a while and played with stuff like that. And then the Instagram actually came from Donner Pedals, the Chinese pedal company. I saw an ad for that saying they're looking for people to do reviews on their pedals. And I thought I can get free stuff and do reviews.
Hell yeah.
That's why I started the Instagram. And I got a ukulele from them, and I got a guitar from them, a couple small little practice amps, some pedals and stuff.
Damn.
So,
nice.
So I started writing those reviews, and that's where the name came from.
Dude, hook it up.
Yeah.
It's all great stuff.
You don't need any more pedals, Kyle.
You'll start a whole Donner board.
Yeah, there you go. That's going to happen next.
So I was doing that, and I was trying to think of a name, and I had a student I was training at work one time, and he came over when he was all done his time with me with a bottle of whiskey, and we shared that down. In the basement, there's a sign that said the Kids Cave. He said, "Why does it say Kids Cave? I don't see any kids down here. It should be Andrew's Alcove." And the kids never really came down here. So when I converted this to my guitar area, I decided that's what I'll go with, was Andrew's Alcove. Right?
Nice. That's cool.
And then the Instagram was kind of going from that. And then my wife was in transition of jobs, and she was trying to decide on what she wanted to do. And she was taking some business courses offered for free from the government.
Yeah.
And there was a social media marketing one. I thought I should take that and kind of see where I can go with it. And that's where I got the idea to start actually doing a business, because I had a few friends I fixed guitars for and did some setups for some people. So I thought I might as well see what I can do with it, right? So, and then through that, I got the Facebook page made and Twitter, which is kind of dead anyway. But
Twitter is weird. It's mainly, I just think it's just for comedy.
People want to
like,
bitch about stuff.
Totally. Like
I find the gaming community is huge in Twitter, but everything else isn't that I'm interested in, right? But any game interested in Twitter's still kind of big. But yeah, so I went through that and decided to start my own business and got the pages all lined up and started doing some advertising and free advertising.
Yeah.
And then people just started getting a hold of me through Facebook mostly. Nice. And started doing a few repairs for people and setups. And I enjoy the setups the most. So that's kind of what I promote, like setup and repair.
Yeah.
And then I got into amps because some people were contacting me, asking me if I can fix their amps. And at first,
you're like, let's check it out.
So, started taking apart some amps and putting them back together and figuring things out. And I started doing a few of those too. So it's kind of just naturally, organically expanding to more stuff, right?
Yeah. There's a 610 floating around here you probably fix.
Yeah, in San Diego.
Ampeg. Yeah. Fly you down here.
Nail it.
Yeah.
You can fly me down. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
If I don't burn it down first.
Yeah. So, I mean, a lot of that had to do from kind of your own, like, attitude of like, well, I can fix this myself. I can kind of do this on my own. And then you realize, like, when you were younger, I would pay somebody else to do this. And then when you started getting back into guitar, you were like, you know what? If I, will fix this, like,
I want people to pay me.
Yeah, things around. If I'm doing this shit around my house and I can figure out how to do it, I'm pretty sure guitar which is like not that many parts, I could probably fix that and start doing it. So that kind of gave you the attitude of like, I'm gonna go for it. Where did you learn how to do any of that stuff? Because I'll maybe go some of my background. I'm like, I can do kind of guitar setups and kind of things that adjust on the guitar. But as far as like, I'm never gonna like try and file nuts. I'm never gonna like, do a fret dress, refret any of that stuff. I'm never gonna solder. I don't like doing any of that. I'm like, what kind of made you like think, hey, I can do that. I want to do that. Like, was it you're a little more fearless than maybe I am? I think that maybe to me, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fuck it up. That's why I don't do it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I've always been kind of DIY with a lot of stuff. And then I find today it's a lot easier than 20 years ago because the internet's huge. Mm-hmm. You can go online. Like Philip McKnight has good videos there. Stu Mack has a wonderful series.
Yeah.
Short videos showing you how to do stuff. So anything I don't know, I just learn it, I guess, right? Just look up a video or read about it. And I usually check a couple sources before I actually dive into anything, right? Mm-hmm. Anything new. I'll check Stu Mack and then check for some other videos and stuff and see what different opinions are and kind of figure out what I want to do. If it's something really expensive, I just let them know I'm not doing it until I do it on something a little cheaper, right? So
yeah,
that's why I got the Squires. Like I went on Kijiji and found some Squires people are selling for $40.
Oh, there you go.
I'd buy those up, rip them down, clean them all up, fix them up, clean the pots up, and then sell it for $100, right?
Oh, that's Kijiji. That's like Craigslist up where you're at, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's like Craigslist.
Yeah. I think you sent me a link to something and I'm like, oh, I'll look it up. Oh, I have to sign in. I have to create an account. And I'm like, damn it, this is up like in Nova Scotia.
Yeah.
Damn it. Like, thanks.
That was on the recorded MXRs, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Just to look at it. I think it wouldn't even let me look at it unless I had like an account. I'm like, Yeah.
What was it? The Jurassic Park Newman. What was his name?
Yeah. So I didn't even message the guy, but I think it was still it was the delay. I think you sent me like the MXR delay.
Oh, nice.
I have one now, but someone else has it right now. I'm fixing it, but yeah. Thanks for sending that, by the way.
Yeah.
Thanks. Good looking out.
So okay. So you're kind of just like what I guess so you're kind of like, oh, I'll just kind of figure it out, and there's a lot of resources at my disposal with the internet. I'm like, what's your limitation with things? I guess I want to know. So on a DIY perspective, I mean, you don't do this full time. It's kind of a side gig on free time that you do have when you're not playing in bands or doing a podcast or with family. You're doing the guitar setup. Like, what's your limitations with it? Where do you see yourself as like, I'm going to turn that away. I can't do that.
I usually, if I don't have the tools, that's pretty well the only real limitation for myself, right? And then I take the money that I get from doing repairs and put that back into buying more tools. So there's not really any pocket money yet from it.
Yeah.
It's mostly just money comes in and then it goes back out and gets more tools, right?
Well, it's kind of going back into it. That's a really cool way to be.
You got to invest in yourself, man.
Yeah. Invest in the craft, man.
You're as good as your tools.
Anything vintage, I'm not really going to attack if I don't know what I'm doing yet, right?
Yeah.
But like I had a Les Paul from the 80s that came in and he just went to a nut repair. So I did stuff like that because I was comfortable with that at that point, right?
Uh-huh.
But if someone came up with something from 1950, I'd probably tell them to go somewhere else.
Like, you know
Pound
what?
sand.
Yeah.
That man was rude.
Yeah. I think I was on an older Gear Slum episode when they had Kevin Equitz on. And it's like he builds guitars, you know? And so he's talks about, it's like, yeah, you really, really need like 3 things or like, you know, to do guitars. Like you need tools, templates, and then time. And then they thought it was going to be like technique or talent or whatever. It's like, oh, I think he made the thing because somebody said something with guitars is 3 T's. It's like tools, templates, and time. And then like, or maybe and then they were like, wait, it's not talent or technique or whatever. You know, it's like you're not just like God-given ability. It's like, no, yeah, if you have time, you can learn how to do anything.
Yeah, you can mess it up.
And I like how
many times you want.
Yeah, and I like how he's like, yeah, time, you'll learn how to do stuff. And I'm like, I like how he's very like, yeah, what I do is not a big thing.
He's
a
humble dude.
Yeah, very humble. I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's kind of like that idea is very. I'm like, I hear that. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that with my guitars. But yeah, so it was kind of like I wanted to bring this up about like our own guitar repair and how comfortable we are with doing these guitar repairs. Like Kyle, I know you are a little more like different focused than I am. So what are you comfortable with and why?
I own a drill press, but I'm not comfortable using it on a guitar yet. I've done it on my Squire, like, cause you know, it's a Squire.
It's Squire
and
bass.
Like some of those holes were like at the wrong angle. I'm like, oh, good thing there's wood filler.
Yeah.
Try again. Yeah.
So, wrong. Sorry.
Yeah. So that's a project. That's an ongoing one. Yeah. So like
that one's not done in the
like,
done pile.
Maybe I should have followed a YouTube video on how to use a drill press correctly. I thought you just drilled it and it went down stray holes.
You used the drill press. I think you've used it once or twice. Like I needed a back like cover for my amp Marshall at the time.
Yeah.
Before I found a back grate from an actual like Marshall.
Uh-huh.
I had you had like plexi like plastic, you know, the glass or whatever. And you're like, I'm like, dude, you know, can you cover this? So you cut it to fit the right size. I'm like, dude, can you do holes? Because I'm like, probably those tubes are gonna get hot. You're
Speed
like,
holes.
You're like, hell yeah! And you use your drill press, and it was just like
watch your fingers,
holes everywhere. And that was probably one of the first times you used that drill press. You're like, hell yeah, I could do this. Like holes all over the place.
Yeah, but going through like a 1/4 inch is different than going through like 1.5 inches.
Yeah, so you're like you're like, man, I killed it on Brian's plexiglass thing.
On this side, all the holes line up. On the other side, the holes do not. How does that work?
You're like,
I'm an idiot. That's why.
You look at the camera. There's no camera. Like, what? Boom, 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 boom.
I guess like I've never used a router before. Also, that's one thing I'd like to try.
And you're like,
not on a guitar. I think I'd try it on a
piece of wood first,
plank or something like a fence post.
But I mean, so like for you, I mean, okay, Kyle. So it's like you did get into a lot of like pedal building and pedal modifying and stuff like that. So that's somewhat guitar related. I'm like, what made you get into that? And like, how did you? You're a lot more comfortable with the soldering iron than I am. So I pretty much
I'm not afraid to fuck up. That's
I gave
basically
you the soldering iron that I bought. I'm like, here, take this, and then you gave me a riot pedal. So I'm like, winner, and then you were like, winner. We both feel like we got made out of that situation. Like, sucker.
I guess once I realized like I can make stuff and it work. No, it didn't start that way.
Yeah,
and some of those
are still hanging around.
Some of those still in the bone pile.
There's the broken Boss blues driver right on the ground. Like it literally looks like Kyle threw it on the smash. It's in pieces, and the circuit board's just gutted, like it threw up, and then Kyle's like threw it on the ground in the garage.
I've taken parts from it when I've needed it.
Hey, I could use a resistant.
Yeah,
I need some resistance.
No, I've taken like nuts and stuff for my other Boss pedals. Like I bought one on Reverb. It didn't come with like something was loose. Took it apart, found that missing a lock washer. I'm like, oh well, I know where one's at.
I got
I got a boneyard.
A boneyard.
So I guess
Boss and MXR.
Once pedals. I realized like I could make something and have fun with it and create something, it made it like sense. It made sense in my head. And I don't know. I'm mechanical. Like I can not. I guess I'm not like the best. I'm not trying. Oh, I'm the best person ever.
I'm the best,
but
man.
I like working with my hands, even though my hands are clunky.
Yeah,
and gross looking. I like working with them.
And then well, with some of that too, it's like okay. So that kind of translated to guitar with there's not as much, with small parts or whatever, but it's like, soldering and stuff like that. So like for you, that's like, oh, that's cakewalk to do like soldering and changing pickups and stuff like that, swapping those and like components out.
Yeah. As long you just have to work on it on, like you said, technique earlier. You have to work on a technique,
like soldering technique.
Yeah.
I like, to be honest with you, I'm like, I haven't done it in forever. I wouldn't know how to do it.
Well, like you can damage a component if you're not careful. If you just leave the soldering iron, you're like, ooh, when's this heating up? If you're not doing it right, you can totally screw up a chip.
Yeah.
You can melt something.
You've also gotten to a point where it's like, okay, maybe you took on a project that ended up being a little more than what you thought. Like say, our friend Ivan, brought the ES335 and you're like, God damn it, this is a pain.
Yeah. I was like, oh, it's a guitar. It's got 6 strings, got some pickups, got some knobs. Perfect. I don't have little doll hands.
Yeah, it doesn't have a cutout, so you have to work through the F hole to get through.
God, I didn't even think about that.
And then it's also like that, and then like a pickup wasn't bad, so he had to like do that and rewind it.
Something was not grounded correctly, and the choice he didn't want to change everything. For me, it would have been like, oh well, that's bad, so I can change it.
Swap
but
a pickup, and he's like, no, I don't want to swap a pickup.
Yeah, it's when you're dealing with a customer. It's not really a customer, but your friend who doesn't want to do that, and you're like, well, shit, I got to put this all back together.
Yeah, so you got it back together, and then like he ended up taking it to a different shop and paying them for it and whatever. It ended up being okay, especially because it was a friend. Like Andrew, have you ever had that yet, where you're like taking on a project and you think that you're 100% capable of doing it, and then maybe something comes up along the way that you're not able to overcome?
Yeah, I had it with someone brought a PV amp over, and I was sure it was just going to be one of the fuses on the inside. Like, it just sounded exactly like that's what it would be. Opened it up, checked everything. It was fine. He wasn't getting sound. His the loop return was running the sound, but he wasn't getting anything in the preamp.
Weird.
I checked everything. Everything looked fine from what I could figure out, and I was like, yeah, just take it back, I guess. I didn't know what to do, right? So, it happened once so far that it was something that I just couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So
it's fine to be like, I don't know. It's better to do that than like, oh, well, I desoldered all these caps and here's a box of parts, dude.
Yeah.
Guess I was not working. So I was working when I left here. I don't know what to tell you.
What'd you do?
Wait a couple months to plug that in.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Forget me.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, doing amps, that's a huge jump from what I can gather. Like, what made you jump into like, oh, I'm going to start working on amps and stuff like that instead of guitars?
Just a friend said, can you fix this amp? And I said, I can take a look at it. And then I kind of went from there. I got his running again, and another one came in a solid state. And when I opened it up, I saw that someone else was in there, and they rewired a bunch of stuff, and it was just kind of a mess inside. And that guy there said, don't bother fixing it, but can you make me a cabinet out of it? So I just took and kind of modified it into, so we just had a cabinet, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes stuff like that happened where it was just the value of the amp and the amount of work it would take to actually get it running again, and trying to figure out what the person before that was in it did to it, because they had wires jumping one plot to another, and it was a mess. So
okay, yeah. I mean, did you have like experience with electronics before? Like, did you do pedal builds or something like that? What like, it seems like a hell of a jump. You're like, oh yeah, I can kind of work on guitars. Like amps, yeah, let me get in there. Even though there's like capacitors that could be like, yeah, that's really dangerous.
Yeah, no, I have an understanding of it. I didn't do a lot of work on it, but I did a lot of reading and stuff in the past, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And as far as soldering, I played around with stuff. I got some circuit board and just kind of stuff that wasn't working anymore, like computer parts and stuff, and just kind of played with it till I got the good technique down, right?
Nice.
I modified my PlayStation when I was younger, so I can play burnt discs on the PlayStation.
What was that hack? How'd you do that?
Hack.
You ordered a chip, and then it had 5 wires on it, and you had to solder the wires onto the circuit board, and it bypassed the security for the PlayStation. So it was like $10 for the part. I soldered it on, but I did hit a piece when I was pulling the solder on where I knocked it off, and it flew across the board. So I kind of had to figure out how to get that back in place, but it worked. So free video games.
Nice. You're
Nice.
like, hacker mode. Boom. Well, yeah. I kind of just, I don't know, like, what about, I guess I had questions about, like, okay, like, you know, you were saying with tools, I'm like, what tools are you, like, still, you know, looking to get into your arsenal?
Yeah, specialty tools.
Yeah,
you
like,
know?
comes, I'm like, what else do you need? I don't really know what you need, because I kind of just either take it to a shop when I need them to do either, like, a fret dress or, like, to, like, cut a new nut. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'd rather have them cut a bone nut and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know, and then I can set an intonation and do stuff like that. But I'm like, everything else, I'm like, have at it, guys.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what is that stuff that you do that you're just like, no, I can do that myself?
Like I had a lot of tools to start with, like my own personal tools. But then the specialty tools like nut files and stuff like that, I gathered. The sanders for the fret edges and stuff, and files for that stuff, I kind of picked up over time.
Was it like StuMac mostly you would get from there, or you kind of do Amazon?
Mostly on Amazon and stuff, really. There's a list of things I want from StuMac.
Yeah.
The price, they didn't, shipping to Canada was expensive.
Okay.
Through StuMac. They just recently came up with free shipping to Canada, so
Nice.
it's a lot more reasonable to order from them now, and their tools are great, right? So
yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to get the big sanding blocks for sanding frets down to do like a full fret redress and stuff like that, right? I don't have that stuff yet.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get the ruler to make sure your fretboard, the slotted one, so the frets don't get in the way when you're trying to make sure it's level.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, I'd probably get right from StuMac. I wouldn't really trust Amazon to have the proper quality for that stuff.
Precision tools like that, yeah.
I'm just thinking of stuff that I'm like, these are things that Kyle should get so that he can learn, so that I can just take guitars to him.
Exactly.
Because I'm like, if you give me a screwdriver and maybe an Allen wrench,
He's gonna scratch the shit out of your
no,
guitar.
I can do stuff with a guitar, but anything else, I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm not gonna do anything else. I'm like, yeah, all you have to do is like, solder. Like, we get a wiring harness from like Gun Street, and Kyle's like, yeah, you only got to solder 2 points. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'll come over here. I'm gonna drink beers and just make a bunch of like crass jokes while you do this. And I'm like, Kyle, are you done yet? And that's how it happens. But no, I mean, that's kind of cool. So you're kind of like still in the mode. Is there stuff that you want to learn?
I'm always willing to learn anything, right?
So like, what is it? Kind of a you don't know what you don't know?
Yeah, things like acoustics. They seem simpler to some, but they're quite complicated to work on, right?
Well, because they're all about
So
the structure.
fragile.
The structure is what makes them their guitar.
Yeah, exactly. And like when the soundboard is warped and stuff, I'd like to kind of figure that stuff out, like how to flatten that out again.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get more into stuff like that, and maybe like build
that's cool.
Yeah,
If I build one,
acoustics.
I'll get better, right? So
The acoustics like defy the laws of physics. You know?
yeah,
They shouldn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what resources you would do, but there's another podcast called the Fret Files podcast.
yeah. I listened to 2 episodes of that. I just started.
So Eric Daw and his wife Melissa, they host that show. It's pretty cool. I mean, the guy is a lot more dry, and it's not like a comedy podcast, but it's very informative. Sometimes I listen to things, and he does repairs. That's what he does, and he builds guitars. But he does a lot of repairs, like a 1934 Martin. He's not afraid to touch that.
Yeah, he sounds like in the first 2 episodes I listened to, he sounded really good.
Yeah, but like I said, it's a lot more dry. If you're gonna listen to it, it's like, so this is what I do, and you kind of listen to NPR, and we're gonna talk about guitars, and sometimes I'm like,
It's the ASMR guitar podcast.
ASMR guitar.
Yeah.
But that's a cool one. I don't know if maybe he kind of tells you different ones, but I'm like, that might be a cool one. Anyway, I don't know. I kind of wanted to just pick your brain about just different guitar repair and stuff like that, and how we can get into more of that. But I think maybe we squoze all we could out of that one. You want to move on to the next one?
Sounds good.
All right. So this one is kind of just about like Mark IIs or Mark IIIs or new revisions of products. You had mentioned about the Katana Mark II. You're a Katana Mark I player, and that's what you play at home. You play in your band, stuff like that. And then the new Mark II just came out. Has some cool features. Do you want to kind of set this up, and then we'll kind of...
Yeah. So I have the original Katana 50 watt.
Mm-hmm.
I got it for
1x12, right? Or
what's that?
it's a 1x12, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So they have a 1x12 50 watt. They have 1x12 100 watt, a 2x12 100 watt. Then there's a 100 watt head.
Yeah.
Then they got the mini one and they got the wireless one.
Yeah.
And they have the Artist, which has more stuff on the front, different speaker and stuff. That's the higher end one.
Yeah.
So when I got this one, I got it mostly for home practice. I tried a few different the modeling ones, like the Vox one, Fender Mustang, and they sounded really digital, right?
Yeah.
So when I got this one, I got it for $300 Canadian. I think they're $229 American, and thought I'll give it a shot. Sold one of my other ones, bought this one with the same money, and it sounds amazing. It does sound. I'm not putting it side by side to a tube amp, but it sounds really a lot warmer sounding. It seems to respond more like a tube amp.
Yeah.
So I enjoy it. It's very light, easy to move around, which is good.
And are you using it more like just a pedal platform? Like, oh, all my stuff is going in? Yeah.
It has so much in it. There's like 55 pedals built in. But I use it mostly as a pedal platform. I just reloaded some. You can download files online and then install them on there to have your different channels.
Yeah.
There's 4 channels on it. And but yeah, I use it mostly for a pedal platform.
Nice.
And it's nice and loud. Like the show I played a couple months ago, there was 4 guitar players and 3 bass players and the drummer on stage and the singer screaming as loud as he could scream.
Yeah.
And in that show, I could still hear my amp on stage. So that's when I was like, oh, wow, it actually is a nice, loud amp, right?
And of course, we definitely always shit on the Katana, but it's actually a pretty good amp.
Yeah.
It's funny. Like
we're just trying to go against the grain.
Yeah. Because it is such a well-liked amp, you know?
Someone's got to hate it.
Yeah, we got to be those people.
Jeez.
I was thinking when Boss put it out and put the price on it, I don't think they knew how popular it was going to be because there's no way they would have put that price if they thought it was going to be as popular as it is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, maybe they would because it sells so much. You know, everybody's buying it.
Yeah, I guess their name out there too, right? So,
yeah, and then like the fact that they came out with that as an amp that like because I think they came out with what was that first one that came out that was like the $3,000 or $4,000 head.
The
Waza amp.
Yeah.
And then people were like, this is fucking stupid. Swing and a miss, boss. You're going down like the Titanic. Yeah. Bye-bye, baby. And then they came out the Katana. Like people were like, woo, sing a different tune now. Like people just like, why don't you hold your reservations? But I remember that. It was like it's a Wazacraft amp. People were like, this thing is, what are you doing here? But I think, and then they came out with the Katana almost like 6 months or less after, and then people blown away. It's really cool, like practice amp that you could use on stage, you know?
Yeah.
And then
they came with the next tone. They came with the next tone after that, and it didn't really. I don't think it took off as much as the Katana.
It definitely didn't make as much of a wave, you know?
Yeah.
I think it was like a better amp and better sounding, but it just didn't like a price point that people were like, it's kind of maybe in between, like getting a certain like, you know, like I'm gonna get like maybe a Blues Deluxe or something like that, or like the next tone. Now I'll probably get a Blues Deluxe, or I can just get a Katana, whatever. And then they recently came out with the Mark II Katana, and this one has different features, right? Has like
it's mostly usability. They added a few different effects on it. I'm not sure all the ones. They added like a poly octave and like a pedal bend, like a whammy.
Yeah.
With an expression pedal, so there's an expression pedal input on the back, right?
So they were also doing like software upgrades with it because you can like upgrade some of the inner workings of it, like of the Katana.
It's on version 3 now. The original one's on version 3, and each time they added a couple pedals. They added a different EQ, the EQ10, the Boss EQ10.
Yeah,
and the last one they added a couple more effects.
Yeah, so they were doing that, but I'm sure they were at a limitation of what they could do with the hardware, actually. Yeah,
exactly. So with that one, without a workaround, there are some workarounds digitally to fix it, but you can only run 3 pedals at once.
Yeah,
and there's 3 knobs. So the knobs on the top, if you had it at 12 o'clock, it was off. If you had all the way to the left, it was off, and all the way to the right, it was off, and then you had your pedals on the left and right.
Yeah.
So if you wanted, each knob had 2 effects on it, but you only run one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So the problem there was, if you say you had a boost on and you had it turned at 0, and you wanted to get past that boost to get to your other effect you had, you'd have to go from 0 to 10 on the boost, and then it would start over on the next effect.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on stage, it would kind of not be good, right?
Yeah, you're kind of like, okay, you're fucking me up here.
Yeah, exactly.
Cramping my
So with the new one, they put a concentric knob, so like a collared knob on it,
Mm-hmm.
and so you can actually run 5 effects at once now. So 2 of them have that collared knob on it, so you can actually change them individually and not worry about overloading with like the overdrive when you're trying to get to a different effect, right?
Yeah.
So more functionality there, and you can run the 5 different pedals at once and actually work it on top of your amp, right?
Nice.
What else did they add?
Well, they added the thing where you can chain 2 of them at once to do stereo effects that do that within the katana.
Yeah, you can plug one in the other. You just take one, plug it in the other, and it runs stereo. So one's like master, the other one's a slave, and the controls on the second one just kind of get overridden, and they got a lot of stereo effects in there too, like their choruses stuff. They have a lot of options there. So
and then you can also use them like just a powered cab.
Yeah, they have a powered cabinet. So before you could run like the effects loop in, you could bypass the effects loop and jump in there, but that came into the chain between 2 of the effects. So the power cab in skips the whole effect section and just goes right to it, right?
Yeah. So now you can, run your HX stomps or, like helix and fractals and stuff like that. And that's like, sometimes you're like, oh, okay, I'll run in front of house with my speaker IRs and emulation. But you're like, oh, okay, I still want some back, when I'm playing at a show or whatever. Cool, front of house gets whatever they want, but I still need some stage movement and stage volume, And so it kind of goes into it. Like once that was announced, I'm like, oh, that's cool. And that's actually way less than a lot of powered speaker cabs from like, Friedman or Mission, or even like, if you wanted to get like a JBL powered, PA speaker, you could do that, but it would look stupid. Like I've seen people who
American, right?
Yeah, I've seen people who do that where they bring like a couple of those JBL powered speakers on stage. Totally does the job. And I think, I've heard other people like, just get a powered, PA. That's the same thing as getting one of these like full range, full response speakers. Just get a PA speaker. I'm like, yeah, but you look like a fucking moron on stage. Like legit, you look like an asshole. Don't do that. You could get one of these because you're like, oh, it's an amplifier. And then so when you're at home, you're kind of jamming around, but you have your like, Helix, or you have your, AX8 or whatever, and you can run into that and cool, and you can actually not look like a dipshit. And for like maybe a couple $100, and like and maybe like a little bit more than you would a powered JBL or something like that. And I'm like, oh god, I have legit seen that. I'm like, oh cool, guy's got a great board. He pulls up 2 JBL, for his stereo rig. I'm like, that's what they say you should do. People on other podcasts I've heard, it's like, just get one of those. I'm like, you look like a dickhead. You look like a fucking asshole. Like like seriously.
You look like a DJ up there.
Yeah, seriously. You like just fucking don't do that. Don't. Yeah. But you can get one of these. And I'm like, oh, that's a really cool feature. Am I going to get one of these katanas? No. And you're kind of at that point too, Andrew. You're saying you're in other groups and on Facebook or whatever. You're like about the katana. You're like, you're sold on the Mark 1 at least, and you're like, cool. Mark 2 came out. Are you gonna buy the next one or what?
The thing with a lot of the features they added is to make it more functional on stage, right? But whereas I usually use it for just a pedal platform, I'm not really using all the onboard effects, which seems like a waste. They're all there, but I just prefer to have my control.
Yeah, you got all your free Donner pedals.
Yeah, exactly.
I got to get them on stage, baby.
Yeah, but so yeah, if I was buying new, it's the same price, right? So I'd obviously get that one. I think you get like a trade-in if you can get a decent amount for the trade-in of the old one. It might be worth it for some to get the new one, right?
Yeah, or you can sell that one, maybe just like eat some of the cost, and
and on $100, and you can get the new one or something like that, right?
Yeah. Would it be worth it? Like, is it like enough features for you to think like, I need the latest, greatest thing.
I don't think for me it is. Because by the time you actually do that in 3 years, they'll come up with another one too, right? So
Yeah.
I'm thinking run this one as long as it runs, and then I'll think about upgrading, right? So
And you're kind of like still sold on it. So if this one went down for whatever reason, or say you're like, oh no, I'm loading it into my car, I forgot to like, I left it like on top of the roof or whatever. I drove off and smashed. I don't know, whatever reason it broke. You'd be like, all right, let's get the Mark II.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then so I kind of wanted to bring this topic up. I'm like, okay, the latest and greatest type of stuff.
Yeah.
Like you were maybe sold on one thing and then something else comes out. We kind of mentioned this on Patreon. Kyle.
Yeah.
With his computer rig.
Yeah.
So you get the best, at the time, the best of the best.
It's funny. At the time,
i9,
only like 3 months ago.
What 16 core processor on your computer and stuff like that. All the best and greatest stuff for your computer. I'm going to get the best software for recording.
Yeah.
My hits, Reason 10.
Yeah.
And then paid for it. And then a week later, they dropped Reason 11.
Maybe I should just pay attention better to, Reason. But I was like, oh, shit.
I don't have a reason to. Oh, my bad.
Boom. So I was a little ticked off, right? I was like, fuck that. Dropped the new one. I just got the older version.
Yeah, you're like
So
within a week. You're like, God damn it!
I pulled a Karen and I spoke to the manager.
Can you imagine Kyle with the hair flip? Like, where's your manager?
It's just me typing on the computer. No, so
he's like
the
cat with the laptop is like.
I just went to the support page and I was like, oh, I just said
support this.
No, so I. Shut the fuck up. So I told him I just bought it, blah blah.
You conned me.
I want the new one. No, I wasn't an asshole like you.
I would have done it.
And they're like, "Oh, well, you're still in your whatever grace period. You could download the next one for free." I'm like, "When did I? No one ever told. It's not like an email that popped up. Oh, it's new. You could get it for free." So, anyways.
Well, because you probably had to ask for them to tell you because they don't want you to download it.
Yeah, so I got the free upgrade, and I'm like, well, now to get the full suite would only be like another $150 more,
and that's probably how they get you. That's the clinker.
Yeah, like and then it's only Reason 11 is only $150.
Yeah, but you've already paid $400 for the other one. So when you look at it, you're like, "Oh shit! Look! I only paid $150 for the Reason 11. Yeah, but I paid $400 for the other one. Yeah, but
that's in the past. I got a free upgrade. You didn't. Are you listening?
You always bringing up old shit.
Yeah. So yes, I wanted the latest and greatest. So
why did you want the latest and greatest?
Because it's in the name, bro. It's the greatest. No, so they had some new instruments they added, and they added some more effects. And
do you think you need to have those?
No,
but you want to have that.
I wanted it.
Yeah, there you go.
I had to have it.
I want it.
Yeah, and I've used a couple of them already, so
So suck it.
Yeah, I want to get my money's worth.
But I like that idea, that mentality of like, I want the latest, greatest thing. I'm like, sometimes you're like, yeah, I need it.
Gotta get it.
That's totally me with the not only because we bitched about it so much, but it's like the Carbon Copy Mini. I don't need it. I don't even use the other features that it comes with, like of the bright switch and the modulation on the outside. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I just wanted that pedal.
Yeah.
And I have the Carbon Copy, like full size regular version. It's great. It's one of the best delay pedals. I enjoy it. It's the one. And then I'm like, the Mini came out, like, yeah. And just put that on my Sweetwater card. I'm like, and it came within a couple of days. I'm like, woo. And I got it. I'm like, yep, that sounds exactly like the other one, but it's smaller and cuter. I love it. And I'm like, oh, it has a bright switch. What?
Okay.
Shut up.
Well, it's got a bright switch, so it's like the Carbon Copy Bright.
Oh, it has that modulation on the outside. Shut up. I don't even care.
It's like you would have had to buy all the pedal versions.
Because they came out with the original. They came out with the Carbon Copy Bright. They came out with the Deluxe that has the bright switch on it. They had the tap tempo and stuff like that, which I really want the Deluxe. Which heard from RJ from Just Surprise Me said hey, that went down in price. It's now like 100, I think 70, 160 bucks. New.
You still want a deluxe?
Yeah. I should get one, right? Why wouldn't I?
You should get the anniversary one.
No, that one's dumb.
It's the same one.
I know, but I want the deluxe.
You just called the original effect dumb.
See what you did when you Kyle,
you are idiot you are.
See what you're spitting all this logic. You just destroying me with logic, Kyle.
No, I have reason. I don't have logic.
Oh my god.
Boom.
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
Okay, so I guess another other pedal, like when a pedal comes out, you want the latest version of that.
Yeah.
Because you have Earthquaker came out with whatever version. Now it has Momentary, or now it has Divisions.
Great.
So you're like, I gotta have that. But sometimes they make like a streamlined one. So let's say like the tremolo from Walrus.
Yeah.
My boys, they know me. They know me. They came out with the smaller version, which I think had a couple knobs omitted.
Yeah.
Which aren't like key, but it's like, well, I'm not gonna go back.
Yeah.
If I didn't have one, maybe I would have got the new one. But I'm like, couldn't pass up that deal.
Yeah. Because I'm like, it's a lot. I mean, it's the normal
size,
MXR size. But yeah, or even like you were saying with Earthquaker. There's the V2 of the Rainbow Machine.
Hell yeah.
Which Johnny Ray, friend of the show, Johnny Ray. He has
homeless 6-shooter.
He has the version 1 of the Rainbow Machine, and it's like with the click switches, so it's like they're not momentary.
Yeah.
And
but Tim and his band has the V2.
Yep. And then
that's what you're getting.
And Johnny was like,
that bastard.
I should get one of those. And he keeps saying like, I should get one with the soft switches, And because like to have that crazy like rainbow effect, Rainbow Machine, like, like it does like, it sounds like almost like Mario hitting the coin box, like, that's what it sounds like. And have your guitar or like instrument do that and just go crazy with it. To have that momentary would just be like, that'd be tight to like throw into like a set or a song or weird stuff. You're
like a metal breakdown.
And you go,
momentary in the first place, eh?
But he's like, you're bling. And it goes bling, 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 bling. To have that, I'm like, it's momentary. And I'm like, that's totally cool. And like do that with the V4 of the Hummingbird. I'm like, I found that super usable. So to me, I'm like, yeah, dude. I'm like, keep telling John, I'm like, I want to get the V2. I want to get the V2 of like, the purple Gear Hero one.
Yeah.
And Johnny's like, because he doesn't really, because you think about it, he uses the shit out of his V1, and it's a really great one because it's like a lower numbered one. He's like
that one came in like a plain box. That's how old it is.
Yeah, and Johnny's like, it totally works and still, but I'm like, I can see his face of like, I could totally get a V2 and use that and keep my V1 at home, because I'm like, when you think about it, I'm like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
You shouldn't think that way, but we all are like, yes, that's a good idea. Go for it, man.
Well, what about like maybe this is different, but with Boss pedals? So you have a CE1, and then you have the CE2. Are those considered different, upgraded?
I mean, yeah, I would say so.
Well, then CE3 is the stereo version, so they add other features, right?
But and that one sucks in comparison to the other two.
It's based off of the C2.
Yeah,
but there's just something that doesn't sound the same.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same soul.
Well, I mean, yeah. I guess like, okay, Andrew. I mean, for you, like, what about some of these like new upgraded upgrades? Are there any that like maybe like really appeal to you, or that you would think I'm like, oh man, that's definitely a way better version of that one?
I think it's usually a cost thing, right? Like I wouldn't buy a Waza Metal Zone, but
why not?
Sounds a little expensive, but there was one pedal I had. It was one of the Donner ones I tried out for them. Mm-hmm. It was a volume and a wah pedal. Had a toggle on the side.
Oh, that's dope.
I thought it'd be great if instead of the toggle on the side, that when you turn the wah off, it was a volume pedal, and that way,
you
can use it for both all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they came out with that, and I was like, well, that's what I wanted in the first place. So when stuff like that happens, then then yeah.
It's just
If I use
it's a kismet. You're like, this just happens to like. I wish this into existence.
yeah, exactly.
Fits my needs perfectly.
I was part of the development team on this.
Like, with the if I use the onboard effects on the Katana,
Yeah.
I definitely would go for the Mark II because of the functionality difference. Because I remember thinking when I first played with it, I was like, why doesn't it work this way? Or why isn't there just more knobs? And now they have it, right? So
they should be paying you.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was something that I thought was functionally that I wanted added to it, and then it came out.
Yeah.
I'll definitely jump on it, right? But
Yeah. Well, I think about that too with like things that I do use. So I have like older versions of things that I really love. So I have the Mark II version of the rocker verb. So there's Mark 1, 2, and 3. The third version seems really, really cool because it has attenuation. It has a better clean channel. Like it's more like chimey, kind of what you want out of a clean channel. And, you know, it just has a lot more features on it. And then a lot of people really shit on the Mark II because saying that the clean tone sounds like shit. And they are correct. It does.
But I love it.
And then they're saying like the spring reverb on the Mark III is better than the Mark II because the Mark II version spring reverb sucks dick. It's not good. It basically goes from like barely there to being like, I'm like, you can't even fucking use this.
Well, it's better than on the 80-30. It's like goes from subtle to subtle.
Yeah. to off to subtle.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, okay, cool. So they finally got it right with the Mark III. I'm like, people are like, oh, this is the one. It has the attenuation. The spring reverb is great. And then the the clean channels that, you know, really good clean chimey, doesn't distort, and it's way controllable with master volume. And I'm like, I don't use the clean channel and I don't use reverb on mine. So suck my dick, bitch. I'm just going to get the I'm just going to keep the Mark II, and I love the way it sounds. The distortion channel is all I use. And then with the Fractal Audio, the FX8, I have the Mark I because they came out with the FX8 Mark II, which is no different except the main faceplate is black.
Because you could upgrade the firmware,
and
right?
The it has like the hardware wise, it has like a 6 dB less noise floor capability. Like it'll cut down more. I'm like, and people are like, "What the fuck? This is your Mark II? Like this? You did nothing. You made a whole new version of this for nothing."
No. We anodized that differently.
Yeah, and it has a black faceplate. And it has a lower noise floor by 6 dB. That's it. It has no more like memory. It has nothing on there that's like, you know, big upgraded. They're like, no, it's exactly the same. I think they just
2.1.
Yeah. And I'm like, what the fuck is the point of this? And everybody's saying like, you made a version like this sucks. There's no difference in this. And then so I had
asked and we listened.
And so yeah, and there's the firmware updates are like, yeah, they kind of give you all the stuff that you need. And like, with the FX8, you're mainly using it in conjunction with an amplifier. So you're kind of like your amplifier is doing like a lot of the tone lifting, you know, and then the effects are all done from the FX8 and routing and stuff like that. But I'm like, if you use their Humbuster type cables, you don't notice a difference and stuff like that. Anyway, so I thought that was like, that's a shitty upgrade. I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. But if they came with a Mark III that was like a lot smaller,
yeah,
because the FX8 is very big.
What about when
it's the size of a PT Junior.
So this is maybe along the same lines. Was it Keeley did a new version of the Caverns?
Yeah,
it's the same thing.
Well, it's
just the graphics different,
isn't it? Is it any better?
No.
Okay.
I mean, like this thing. I didn't like it a whole lot. You'd play, it'd start self-oscillating. You're like, oh, I'm gonna turn it off, and then like an hour later, it's still going. It's like if you took a bunch of bees and put them in a bottle and shook them around. They're still in there. They're still pissed off.
They in the body. They don't go back in the bottle.
Yeah, that's what it was. You're like, oh, let me just kick this back on. Holy shit!
Yeah.
So. I'm like,
so the V2 still sucks.
And they didn't make momentary switches. I'm like, they could have done that.
Yeah.
You guys failed.
You were this close.
No, I mean,
you could
whatever.
Have done
it was just the same graphic, but like black backed
instead
of white background. It was black background.
No, that was just the one, but they had the original Keeley Caverns,
Yeah.
which I don't think you're talking about. They had original Keeley Caverns V1, which was completely different looking.
Okay.
It had a lot less features.
Well, then the V2 and then whatever.
they made a special graphic V2.
Well,
But
yeah.
instead of that graphic, you could have fixed some of these other problems. You fucks.
Should have called me first.
Call me.
Yeah, I'm the only guy probably who notices that.
Anyway, so I guess those are the differences between the, I mean, sometimes, the new versions, they don't impress me much.
Oh.
But sometimes with Kyle, or if you're in that same mindset, which I'm not faulting him, because sometimes you I need to have the latest.
Yeah.
I
Sometimes.
should get that new one. I was really that same way because I have a Claret 8 pre interface, which is a Thunderbolt 2, and then they came with a USB-C version of that, and I was like, oh, I should get that because that's the newest one. And I saw, and I'm like, Thunderbolt 2 has way more power and transfer rate than USB-C, so I'm like, no, I'm not gonna get that.
Why'd they go backwards? I think to make it more compatible.
Compatible with Windows.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was one thing. I was like, oh, dude, I should totally get that until I actually did some research. I'm like, that is not any better, but they're the same price. So I stuck with the Thunderbolt 2 version. Anyway, but I think we're kind of winding down here. Andrew, thanks so much for joining us.
No problem.
And then, I think we're going to head on out of here. But yeah, I mean, do you want to, plug your Instagram and Facebook page one more time before we head out?
Yeah, it's at Andrew's Alcove on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
So you're doing, where are you? I guess we never even said. We just kind of alluded to it a bunch of times, this is where he's from. Where are you out of?
Stellarton, Nova Scotia, in Pictou County, Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Isn't that close to where they do Trailer Park Boys?
That's what you get said all the time.
Trailer Park Boys was filmed in Halifax, and it was filmed in Truro a bit there, too. When Snoop Dogg was on, that was in Truro, and that's half an hour away. I was actually working there on the ambulance at the time, and I went up to the security in the ambulance and tried to just drive past them. They said, did someone call you? I'm like, no, I just went to see Snoop Dogg, and they sent me away.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I was making sure nobody dies.
I tried, right? But actually, Bubbles grew up here, about 10 minutes away from my place. That's where he's from, Mike Smith. He had a band in high school and after high school, Sandbox.
Okay.
I don't know if they made Down Your Way or not, but they had a few songs on Much Music Here and stuff. And so he was kind of a name we knew. And then when I saw him on the show, it was kind of cool to see him doing something else, right?
Nice.
So,
Nice. Yeah. And he's, they're killing
local boy.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us. I know it was, it's your first podcast. Give it up for Andrew. Woo, on your car ride.
Everyone join in.
Everybody's the whole crowd goes wild.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We'll have to have you on again. But it was kind of on a whim. I'm like, I got this idea. You want to be on the podcast? You're like, yeah,
sure.
Let me see if I can do this.
yeah.
And I think it worked out. It was a lot of fun. So do our little spiel to get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. And if you guys like what you hear, you guys can follow along with the podcast on social media. We're on Instagram at The Tone Jerks. We have a Facebook group. We have a page. It if you want.
That's cool. Just join the group, though.
Join the group, though. That's where all the action's going down. Andrew's in there. He's fucking shit up.
Yeah, posting 69.
69 all damn day.
Not temperature, though.
69 all the time.
Not in Celsius.
Oh yeah, Celsius. We frying.
Quite balmy.
Balmy. Boom. And then we, if you guys really like what you hear, you guys can help support the show on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. But if you guys double down for $2 a month, you guys get an extra episode every week. And Andrew actually listens to those episodes, right? They're okay.
They're cool, right? Yeah.
They're funny.
It's really more just like if you think
those heavy hitting topics.
Yeah. If you think this is laid back, like the Patreon's a little way more laid back. Anyway, but just for for the support and a big thank you, Kyle's going to give you a big shout out a huge shout out, sizable acknowledgement. Give me those names. Bye.
All right, we have Brett Alexander, Doug King, Andrew. How do you say that? Is that a Walsh? Walshy boy. Andrew Walshy boy.
Volsh.
Michael Newman.
I think I'm on a different rhythm because we're drinking Bud Lights tonight.
I'm drinking Frescas. Well, I had one Bud Light.
Yeah, I'm just like, they didn't have fucking Miller Lite at that. I'm so pissed. God damn it.
Andrew, what are you drinking? You got to be drinking something.
I had a Olin's Export. That's a local beer.
I heard you crack one earlier, and I was like, should I ask? No, I don't want to. Kiss and tell. I don't, I want you to
kiss and tell. These Bud Lights, they just don't do me right like the Miller Lights. Oh,
you're raging though still.
I am.
All right. Adam Rohr from the Let Him Hear podcast. Bruce Banana, Colin Smith, Doug Gann, Andrew Taylor, Jason Fuzzmonger.
Andrew Taylor. I think you mean Aaron Taylor.
Yeah. Aaron Taylor. Jesus, I can't even read my own handwriting.
You only had one of those things. What's in that?
I had two Frescas.
What's in that Fresca?
Aaron Taylor, Jason Fuzzmonger, Abe Newman, Jim Bowers, Doug Christ, Joseph from Like My Pedals, and Will Lehue from the Just Surprise Me podcast. Woo. Johnny Ray, Jamie Davis, Sean Fahey, Steve Mike, Digger from Fatfoot Effects, Alvaro Viramontes, Brian from Nutter Guitars, Nicholas Payson, Sean Arbo from Gun Street Wiring Shop, Co Schneider from the Flippin' Flippers podcast, Kevin E. Quits from Equits Guitars, Leon from Pelican Noiseworks, and Nicholas Ogburn.
Woo. All right. Thanks, Andrew.
That's our time.
We will see you next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.